Doggy, I think I might have missed the mark. A couple days ago, I made this video right here. It's still out on the channel. It hasn't gone viral or anything. It actually has about average views now for what I'm getting on my site. But I have received some feedback on that particular video about the fact that I'm pitting two AIs against each other, coming up with a test for that, but it's not really a scientific test and I'm not really measuring anything. Yeah, I know. That was kind of the point, and I think I might have missed the mark on explaining what I was doing with that particular vlog, and it might have rubbed some folks the wrong way. So let me explain just a little bit. First, a little background on me. I'm in the IT field, but I am not an AI developer. I'm not an AI professional. I'm learning, right? Because in the IT industry, AI is everywhere now, and we're all using it, regardless if we know we are or not. And one of the things that I want to do with my career is I want to make sure that I'm on top of AI and the new technologies that are coming out. And so I'm documenting my process as I'm learning and understanding new things about AI, at least in the role that I can. Again, I'm not a developer, so I'm not using the AIPs, I'm not writing code. I'm using AI more as a consumer and someone who interacts with AI at a text prompt level or at a voice prompt level, and how can it enhance my role or the things that I do within IT. And so that's the angle, that's the perspective that I am coming from. I know there's a lot of people out there that are way more technical than me that are looking at these things, that are building applications off of IT and all kinds of crazy stuff. That's not me. That's not my particular niche. So when I do a head-to-head comparison against one AI against another, I'm not necessarily looking at all the behind the scenes technical things. Now, there are tons and tons of benchmarks that AI is measured against. A whole series like this.
Benchmark datasets like ImagineNet, COCO, Glue, MMLU, performance metrics like the accuracy, the precision and recall, F1 score, mean average precision, inference time, evolution methodologies. And the common methodologies include cross-validation, holdout validation, A/B testing, human-in-the-loop testing, comparative analysis with baselines and state-of-the-art systems, real-world and custom benchmarks, looking for diversity with a custom benchmark specific or that are credited for specific domains, red teaming, and robust testing, continuous monitoring and iteration, not to mention NIH, which is needle in a haystack testing.
But for me, I, I'm not using any of those because I'm just interacting with the tool itself. And what I was trying to get at with that particular vlog, from an end user perspective, somebody who is not as technical as a developer, somebody who is just using the tools from a text prompt or from a voice prompt or using them to work on a spreadsheet or things like that that are in my area or my bubble, my sphere, which AI would be better? And that's where that particular vlog came from, and the set of test criteria that Quinn, which is my ChatGPT, Quinn and I came up with for that test. So there were three different areas that we took a look at. The first was a story. Can the AI write a story? And how well does it actually write? And that part of the the test for the AI is still live. It's in my community or my post section. So if you want to go take a look at that, you certainly are welcome to. And you can vote on which. There's two out there. I've got two stories out there. One was written by Gemini, one was written by ChatGPT. You can vote on which one of those you think is better. You can't tell which one wrote which. So it's just an A/B selection. You choose, and then after a week that it's been up, I'm going to complete that poll, and we will see who came out on top. So that's the first one. What's its writing skills? Because for me, if I'm going to use AI as a consumer and somebody who is doing project management and things, and I want it to write a report for me and summarize some data, how well is it writing? What does the grammar look like? If I want it to respond to some emails for me automatically, what does that look like, right? So the writing skills for me is one of the things that's important. The next area was just a series of really simple and basic questions around facts. And that's one of the things that I have complained about with AI since the start, is that in the term for it is hallucinations. AI will have hallucinations where it has learned something through all of the data that has been fed into it, and it starts spouting that as fact. And really, it's misinformation. And that's what's called a hallucination in the AI world. And I wanted to see just some basic facts if it got them all right. I mean, if it can't get basic facts right, basic trivia type facts, then there's a problem. And so both AIs did fine in that area. ChatGPT came out on head because it provided not only the fact, but it also gave more information around that fact with each answer. Now, I didn't have access to Gemini Advanced. Gemini Advanced may do that as well, but the Gemini that I was testing against did not. So that was the second set. And then the third set is how does it do in programming? So what we did for the programming is we used a simple Python request and had both AIs develop that in Python. And then I used a third AI, which is Copilot. So I used the Microsoft AI Copilot to review and some specific criteria, which one was more efficient, which one was more concise with the code. Can it compare the two and tell me which one actually was better written code? That's how we judge the Python. Now, for me, in my role, very rarely would I use Python scripting for anything that I do. I might use some Java, Excel macros, and I certainly would use Excel formulas. So there is an aspect of that kind of light programming in the role that I am, but I'm not a developer hardcore for developing code. So that's where that third piece came in is can it do a little bit of simple development code, something that I might use or might require for a data set that I'm working on to provide some information or some statistics. Now, as I do more of these head-to-head competitions, I'll try to do a better job explaining of the perspective that I am looking at these from. So there isn't any of the confusion that I am certainly not gauging them technically on how quickly they respond or how they do with the needle in the haystack type. None of that stuff. No, no, no. I want to make sure that I'm clear next time on the perspective that I am testing these AIs out at. Now, for me, I think ChatGPT right now is the benchmark for every other AI to either meet or beat. And there's two reasons for that. The first is the memory. The memory and the way that OpenAI has managed their memory for their AI tool, I think, is phenomenal. The fact that it can pick out little bits of information from a conversation that you're having and saying, "Oh, this is something that's important. I probably will need this for the future. I'm going to pluck that into my memory file and I will load that up every single time I start a new conversation with this user." And so that the way that they do that, I think, is fantastic. And ChatGPT has surprised me on many occasions where it will bring up something in a conversation or it will start a conversation. As an example, it will start a conversation in Portuguese. And because it knows I want to learn and I'm studying to learn Portuguese. And so it will start a conversation just using Portuguese all on its own. It doesn't need me to prompt it because of the fact that it's picked that up in its memory file and it knows that about me. And so it incorporates that into our conversations. And now the enhanced feature of ChatGPT's memory is that it can go back and look at your previous conversations, even though it's not everything is stored in its memory file. It can use those previous conversations to add and enhance to its memory of what you have recently talked with it about. And I think OpenAI does that the best. So that's my number one reason why I think ChatGPT is the best. The other is I enjoy the voice conversation with ChatGPT. I think it has the best, at least from my perspective, the best human interaction with the advanced voice than any other AI that I've tried so far. Perplexity has got a pretty good one out there now as well, and I've used that a few times. I don't think they're quite as human. That's not the right term. And maybe human is the right term. Eh, they're not quite as natural. Maybe that's a better term. They're not quite as natural as what ChatGPT comes off at least for me. So I still think ChatGPT is ahead in that regard. And so they're the benchmark that I'm setting everything else up. Now, I think probably the next one I'll do will probably be Perplexity versus ChatGPT, and we'll see how the two of them can do. All right. I think I've yammered on enough for today. But I wanted to come on and explain that what I was trying to do there, and I apologize that I did not make that more clear in that video, that that's what I was going for and what perspective I was coming from. But thank you for the feedback. I mean, that's how this channel will improve. That's how I will improve. That's how we will all get something out of this channel together, is by communicating and saying, "Hey, you missed the mark over here. I think you need to improve this one." So I will definitely try to improve that on my next go round of head-to-head competitions. All right, and that's where we're going to wrap it up for today. This is Monday, April 21st, 2025. This is vlog 111. But don't worry, if you want to see 112, we'll be back with that one tomorrow.